Hey, what's up? Okay, let's get the cam going here. Give me a second. How's everybody doing? Where's the cam? Webcam? Hey, hello, people. Yo, familiar alias in the chat. Okay, release day, huh? Even releasing detection rules this time, which I haven't really done the past releases. I guess I decided on doing this for this release since it's a bit more like it's generally harder to detect than a lot of other tools. So giving a decent rules is was kind of a plus from my side. So SharpExfiltrate. Logan's in the chat as well. Awesome. KKK. So this is it. This is SharpExfiltrate. It's a rather small borderline framework that allows you to exfiltrate large or small amounts of data. Hey, what's up? Artifact from a compromised machine or from whatever machine really, and it's designed to work with executed assembly. I'll get back to that. Someone blogged. um, right. So out of the gate, it supports OneDrive, Google Drive. Not long. This isn't. So the thing is that this uses the official dependencies and NuGet packages from Google Drive, from Azure, and not from third-party provider for OneDrive. Okay, awesome, Logan. Thanks. So a lot of the actual integration towards the API was already done with third-party provided packages. The effort here is just to get all the files, zip them, add a password to it, and then upload it through that service. And I tried to make it modular, so it should be relatively easy to implement your own service. Say you wanted to add, Amazon buckets, S3 buckets. Maybe that's something you want to exfiltrate data to, or if you just want to exfiltrate data to some external SMB share, basically just moving a file to another SMB share, or FTP or SFTP or whatever. Hello, Olaf. It should be pretty straightforward implementing that. So I'll download it. We go through the code here, and we're going to go through the code. So here's some examples. Example one is just if you want to upload the entire desktop folder from the target. You select the first module you want to use. So OneDrive, you select the module. That's the first preverb, and then each module has a different set of properties or attributes, arguments. Sorry, that it needs. Those are defined further down here for each module. And then you give it those properties specific to the module, and then there are always going to be 4 or 5 arguments that are generic for all modules that correlates to the actual gathering of data, the compression, the encryption, and uploading. So it gathers all the data. In this like example run, I only pointed out a single binary. It generates a random password in memory, and then it compresses it and uploads it to whatever servers of your choosing, right? And you get a nice little upload, like a progress bar or progress status updates. And you also notice that the file name here is the host name you're uploading from, the timestamp when you uploaded it in UTC, and then the file. And the reason I added this is that I always forget to take proper notes when I do exfiltration through Cobalt Strike, where on the computer it originated, when I got it, like other metadata related to the exfiltration. So I thought it would be nice to have that as a prefix for every compressed file that you upload, so you know where this file originates from. And then I also added the the encryption for good OPSEC. In the event that somebody compromises your OneDrive account or Google Drive account or whatever, obviously you would create a burner, but then having it encrypted is great. Make sure that the client data is protected. And this is randomly generated in memory. Right now, you can't set your own. There's no particular reason for that. I just thought there's no, like, you could just copy out from the output. So, yeah. And that's sort of the example run. At the end, it gives you the link to the resource. Obviously, this link isn't publicly accessible. You need to be logged into whatever servers you exfiltrated with. It just gives you where the information is located at. So some of the examples here are, if you want to exfiltrate the entire desktop folder of a target, you just specify the desktop folder as a file path. If you want to upload all PDFs from all the subfolders and files in the target's root directory, you just specify the extension separated by a semicolon. And then here's the thing. So you can't do all this in memory. If you were to compress 16, 20 gigs of memory of files in memory, not touching disk, you would obviously run out of memory, right? So when you don't specify the memory only command, it will actually cache a file on disk. And I'm gonna, a secret between you and me, that file name is static, and that's one of the detection rules I provided with this repo as well. So don't tell the bad guys. But yeah, if you want to use this covertly on a proper operation, you go to the source code, and find the triggers I hard coded to make this detectable, or more easily detectable, that is. So memory only will zip and compress all in memory, not touching disk. This is great if you just want to scrape all PDFs or TXT files right in a not so gigantic directory. But you will run out of memory if you try to use memory only command on huge directories. So for the so that's that, and then you have if you wanna, you can also specify max size. So let's say you want to get all size from a directory, or all files from a directory that are less than 1 megabyte. You do -- size 1, so that is the int value in megabytes that the size has to be below of the file. And this will exfiltrate all files less than 1 megabyte from the user's root directory, which would be quite a lot. If you want to upload a huge ISO image, so you just specify the image, it uploads, it's compressed, then uploads. And then so this is interesting also. Let's say you want to upload all backup images, like VMware ISO images that are less than 500 megs, maybe indicates it's a snapshot, or it's a tiny, like an older Linux history image or whatever. Just for an example, you can do extensions, add multiple extensions. So these are the common extensions for VMware files, and then the size is again less than 500 megabytes. Okay, so question: the only concern for OPSEC I might have is the user pass on the command line. Yeah, right. So that is correct. So for the OneDrive module, you provide the user pass just because it's easy. I do the actual OAuth flow in code for you to get the access token you need. So yeah, that is an OPSEC consideration. And if you were to run this straight from the command line, obviously they would have that, right? Also, ETW might catch you out on that. For the other ones, it's actually access tokens, and those would expire within a reasonable time. Right, so for the Google Drive one, it's an access token. Those expire each 3,600 seconds, I believe. And the same for the storage account. You provide a connection string. You can refresh that connection string after you're done with it, so it isn't valid anymore, basically. So those are like the examples on usage, and then I go into depth on each module. So there's 3 modules: Google Drive, OneDrive, and Azure Storage. So the OneDrive module, as I said, it uses password username to fetch an access token, authenticates against the Graph API, which is what OneDrive uses. Yeah, I've only tested this against the domain joined user accounts, tenant joined Office 365 accounts. I'm not sure if it will work with your classic free Microsoft Online account. Just a heads up there. I haven't done any testing with it. Obviously, MFA has to be disabled for me to be able to fetch an access token on behalf of your credentials. So be known about that, or that's a note. Right, and then here are the options for the OneDrive command. For the Google Drive module, I have some step-by-step instructions here on how to generate the access token. So I think you can access this. Yeah, so you go in here, you scroll down to Drive API v3. You click Drive File, Authorize API. It will ask you to log in. Once you're logged in, you should be able to generate access tokens, which you could use straight into SharpExfiltrate. And then the last one is Azure Storage Account, which is my personal favorite, mainly because the storage account Apex domain or root domain is windows.net. So depending on the network traffic the client is catching up, that looks fairly legitimate. Right now I'm having issues. Both the other modules runs fine with execute assembly. I used ccops dn merge to smack the assemblies into the same binary. But for some reason the Azure storage nugget won't play along with me at all. So I'm currently working on how I can fix that. So just to note, the current version, if you try to exfiltrate with Azure Storage account, that won't work from execute assembly. At least not the default Cobalt Strike execute assembly. Maybe one of the other third-party aggressive scripts or buffs allows you to do that, but yeah. So those are the modules. Let's just take a quick peek at the detection rules. So I provided this small jar file here. So I used the template from Rubius and the other tools released by Ghostpack. So basically this detects the compiled GUID for the binary when you compile it out of Visual Studio. So that's a decent detection. I don't think normal obfuscation will actually change that. Don't know, but yeah, that's one to note. And then the other detection rule is for the cached file name that it drops on disk whenever you do compression and you don't specify the memory only option. So in temp directory there will be a file called SharpExfiltrate loot cache that will be increase in size as you add more to the compressed library. That gets uploaded and then it deletes itself afterwards, so that files get deleted. So if you get any alerts on this, then somebody used SharpExfiltrate straight out of GitHub, didn't change anything, which is a classic maybe a classic evil guy Telltime sign, or a tell. Oh my god, I can't speak. Classic evil guy sign. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's git clone this. Okay, first off, I'm gonna make it public. Change the repository visibility, make it public. Blah blah blah. Yes. Oh, so glad that didn't show up. There we go. So that should be public now. Hopefully I didn't fuck up and include any credentials in the debug artifacts in the solution or whatever. I think that should be fine. Yeah, okay, so it's public. Enjoy. Let's clone that and let's play around with it and show you the capabilities here. So Dave is with us today as well. We can't do hacking without Dave on his horse. I guess technically that's an earning, whatever that's called, unicorn. Okay, so let's compile this. I'll show you a quick peek at the code if you want to add your modules here. So we have the modules folder, which is represents each of the modules. And what these do is that they provide the functionality needed to do the actual uploading. So most of them have like an upload file function, and then upload progress change function to give the status when stuff gets uploaded. These are a bit different for each of the modules. What makes it easy to implement is that the file handling module is pre-prepared and can be used for all new modules. So if I were to add a new module, let's say I wanted to add an AVS module, right? I would go down to the main and I would add a new AWS, or I guess S3 buckets option, right? So this is a feature out of a NuGet called command line parser, which is a very popular GitHub repo used for parsing our input arguments in C#. So you'd basically define what function you want to call based on the input module. So this will make more sense when I create the actual class. So we do that, and then we go to models, options, we create a new S3 bucket options class. And then that would have to inherit from the file options class, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my god, thank you. Sometimes working with me would be great. Nope, okay. I guess I have to see. A bit of an off-topic question, but what are some common OPSEC things to keep in mind when dropping writing files to disk? So one of the key things I usually do is timestamp the file. So if I drop a persistency on disk, whether it's targeted application DLL hijacking, or if it's you're dropping a file to the startup folder, whatever. Within Cobalt Strike, there's something called timestamp, which allows you to change the meta information of the file to look like it was dropped or deployed on an earlier time. So I always timestamp my dropped files through some older data already on disk to make sure it doesn't easily stand out. But other than that, you can really get away with dropping from a known process, meaning that the process you're running your beacon in the case of Cobalt Strike would be a legitimate process that would make sense, that would drop in any sort of files, maybe like the Teams update process or the Google OneDrive update process or whatever. It would make sense that they would drop files, right? And then it's just a matter of naming the file correctly. Obviously, it shouldn't be matched with any signatures, and name it something logical, right? Look at other files in the surrounding directory, name it accordingly, and then timestamp it. That makes it a lot harder for the defense to figure out what's going on. Specifically for OPSEC, I will always take note where I drop my file, so I can delete the file if the customer isn't willing to do the cleanup themselves, or they can't do the cleanup themselves. I recently had a customer where their detection capabilities were rather immature, and therefore they weren't able to detect presence on a bunch of workstations, and then that makes it hard on their part to do the cleanup. So I will give them, our indicators of compromise. I dropped these files, I installed these services, I did that, I did this. And I think I'm filling up my C drive. Give me a second here. I need to delete some files. Something like that, basically. Yeah, just make. I think one of the biggest things as a proper operator or for anything, any CD framework would be to make sure you can clean up accordingly after you're done. You do not want to leave residue or files that are used throughout the operation on disk when you're done with the operation. Unless, again, the client wants the challenge of cleaning up, and there should also be a communication afterwards then to make sure that he caught everything. I hope that answers that question. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what. Okay, so it needs to inherit from file options. For some reason, Visual Studio decided, you know what, you can't do anything. So let me try to save this and then reopen this. No worries. Okay, let's see. It's thinking about it one of those days, huh? I knew I should have warmed up Visual Studio before doing a stream. Okay, so if you create you create a new whatever module options class. This is the class where you define to command line parser what sort of input arguments you need. So what you do is that you inherit from file options, and this basically allows you to use the already defined file options that's needed to do the actual file operations. So all these can now be used by default. Now you just need to define whatever options are specific to S3 buckets. So that means just steal from Azure connection string here, smack that into S3 buckets, and then I'll rename the class, I'll rename the module name, and then, okay, let's pretend that the S3 buckets also need a connection string. There we go, that's done. Now this will appear when you run SharpExfiltrate without giving it any parameters. This will appear as a module, and now you can also run the S3 buckets module. So this is the name of the module. You can give it this argument, and you also have to follow the arguments needed for file option. Minimum requirement there is file path. And then you need to create the actual module, which is this. And then in main, you create a new function here. So S3 buckets exfil, which will then take the S3 buckets options input argument. So just steal from this. And there we go. Now you can, I would just copy the file handling module from the other ones, and then in here, you need to handle whatever. Sorry, I'm doing it wrong again. So these are the things you need by default in your module. This output here will be both the amount of entries in the zip file, the new file name, and the zip stream, and that should be all that you need to upload that to whatever exfil resource you want. So if that would be S3 bucket, I would create a new, create a new instance of the S3 bucket module, which I haven't created yet, and then have a function there called file upload, which I smack the zip file data into. So that should be pretty straightforward once you take a look at it. That was way too quick. That wasn't sort of the point of the stream today, to go through and show you how to create your modules, but sure, now you know that too. Let's reset this project. So if you don't know how to do that, that's really nice. If you fuck up your project and you have a decent commit, you can right click SharpExfiltrate, go to Git, undo changes, and that will redo everything back to the latest commit. Now let's actually try to compile this. Looks good. Yeah, we got it compiled. Okay. So let's open SharpExfiltrate bin, debug. So when you run it in debug, that's a note. When you run it in debug, dnmerge won't actually smack the DLLs into the file. You can then see that file is only 37 kilobytes. So change to release and then rebuild again. Go back to the release folder, and you should now see that the DLLs are still there, but the SharpExfiltrate file is now 900 kilobytes. So that's more appropriate. So let's run it. If you run it one time, you'll see that it prompts you that no verb is selected. You need to select either of these. For my demonstration today, I'm going to be using the Azure Storage Account one, because I don't want to provide you either with an access token or a username and credentials that you guys can use live on stream. This access token I can just delete the storage account afterwards, and that access token won't be valid. Yeah, that git trick is nice. Okay, so if you specify the Azure Storage module, it will tell you that you need a connection string and you need a file path. So let's give it a connection string. I'm just going to copy the connection string off screen here that I have for it. Which is this one. So the connection string for Azure Storage Account can be found under the Azure portal. After you created your storage account, you go in and you should see something called access keys, which is a sub-menu on the left side. And then you just click that and you unhide the connection string and you copy it. So you give it -c for connection string, and then we can give it -f for a file. So let's upload something. Let's upload... Oh my god, I don't want to see the weather. I don't care about the weather. Let's upload the whole desktop folder, right? Let's upload SharpRAN 3. So let's just select SharpRAN 3 as a folder. Again, this will upload every file in the SharpRAN directory recursively, including subfolders, and it will keep the structure. So this will probably bloat up the screen because there's so many files, right? Should probably add a quiet mode, and then they go, and then it's uploaded. So you see that if you scroll up, that it starts off by giving you this nice ASCII art, and then starting compressing all the files, again keeping the structure. Once done, it says that it's setting a password for the zip file. So the password for this zip file is 969b66 blah blah blah. It's launching the Azure Storage module, and then it's starting to upload. And then it says, upload complete. This is the file now. Again, notice the file name here. It's the host name underscore timestamp in UTC when you upload it. Personally, that's a huge thing to know. Exactly when you exfiltrated this information, exactly where you did it from, and then the original file name. So if I go off screen here and just explore my storage account, I can see that I have a new file. It's 20 megs. Let me download that and show you that it indeed works. Give me a second. I'm just gonna download it off screen and drag it into the machine, into the VM. So where are you? Pretty sure I put it in desktop. Yeah. Big D, big, there we go. So, unless I fucked up something, this is the file. that we just uploaded. Double click that. You can see that the files are here, but you can't access them. You need a password, and that password is going to be this. And there we go, you can access the files. So that's basically the simplest usage of it, just doing a recursive folder. And then let's say you want to upload all the PDFs or something. So don't know if I actually, give me a second. I'm just gonna check out. I ain't got nothing stupid on this machine. Okay, so let's take this as an example. Okay, so in this downloads folder, I got a bunch of exes, right? So let's say I just want to upload those exes. So that would be this, but then instead of desktop, it would be downloads. Again, it doesn't, I think I added filtering, so you can do it with the last backslash or not, doesn't matter. Then it's extensions, which I think is, let's check here. That's -E. So let's say I want to do all the exe files. So that file on 150 megs is going to take a bit of a time to compress. Could multi-thread this, haven't done that yet. And there we go, it's uploading. Right? So that was all the exe files in that directory. Gonna leave it to finish, and I'll do all the exe files in that directory less than 10 megabytes, right? Funny story is that I ended up creating this last week due to Odvar being on a gig, and he found what I believe was a backup image, and then he wanted to exfiltrate that, and he was running on a, I don't think he was running on a DNS beacon, but the outbound internet connection was super slow, so they weren't, you know, doing that overnight using COBOL. Just nope. So I ended up creating this, which worked fine. Okay, so let's set the size to 10 megabytes. So all files less than 10 megabytes. Done. Any other option? Okay, let's do mem only. So memory only. Let me actually, do I have proc mod in this machine? Let me show you the artifacts that gets dropped when you do mem only compared to doing not mem only. Again, mem only can only be used when you're working with smaller file sizes. So let's do not memory only. Let's do only files. Oh, that's yeah. Of course I don't want to do PowerShell. Let's change, remove that, and do process name is SharpExfiltrate. If did I type that correctly? We'll see. I guess yeah, I did. So you see here that it creates. Actually, let's just redo this. There we go. So this is the cache file that it uses to compress everything into. So that's what the YAR rule is based off. If you see this temporary file anywhere, it means SharpExfil is running on the system. Now, if you do mem only, it won't generate that file. So if you do -m for mem only, it will do everything in memory instead of dropping or caching anything to disk. We shouldn't be able to find that file now. Let's go down to yeah, no file. Right? So yeah, that's the difference. That's the usage. I really hope this tool is going to be helpful. I know I'm going to be using our version of this, or sort of an internal version of this, on engagements to exfiltrate, as long as fork and run operations is a good to go. Obviously, if you can't fork and run, then pulling off an execute assembly is going to be hard. You could try inline execute assembly. That might end up killing your beacon, which ain't great. So yeah, this is sort of it. Any questions, any feature requests, anything like that? Again, it's public on GitHub now, so you can fork it and make whatever changes you want to it. If you want to add a module, that would be great. I think Amazon buckets would be a great module to add. Did look into adding Dropbox, but they... I don't know if I just read the wrong documentation or what's going on, but based on what was possible before, it deletes it. So it's deleted from the disk. But before it was pretty easy just to use the client ID and secrets from Dropbox to get access token as a user and then do uploads. But now you have to like follow the actual. I think it's called, what's it called? Like I hate OAuth flows. I think it's called a client grant, where the application asks the user to access the files on behalf of him or her, and then you have to accept the specific permissions. That's the flow you have to do every time you want to get an access token now. So it's a bit more of a hassle. So I would have to create like something in the SharpExfiltrate Dropbox module that you would run on your host to get the access token. Then you could copy it and use it on the machine. But if anybody have anybody ideas or a way to do it with just username and password, that would be, I guess, more at least more preferable. Maybe not in terms of like an OPSEC consideration, but in terms of ease of use, that would be better. But yeah. So I started. I haven't. I guess I can take a look at that. But I started looking into seeing if I could fix the execute assembly issue by not using the Azure Storage NuGet package. So let me try that real quick. It's probably 99% going to be a fail, I think. Ooh, that's interesting. So I can't see that link if you try to send me a link. But yeah, maybe there's an rclone C# NuGet package that we could use and just base everything off that. That would be nice. I guess an SSH exfil would be good. SMB exfil. Maybe. I mean, that's not as useful. Yeah, you can't send links. You would have to send me on Discord. I think we have an old chat going on Discord. Give me a second, I'll hit you up. You can send me the link there. Users can't send links as of right now. Yeah, I sent you a DM on Discord. Check that off. Okay, so let's try to just remove the storage module. It's going to complain. That's fine. rclone. There we go. Yeah, I've heard of rclone. Supports a lot of stuff. Could definitely take a look at. Interesting. Could definitely take a look at maybe. Take a look at their source code and their implementation. No idea what the. Probably Python or something. No, it's Golang, right? Yeah, it's Golang. Pretty cool. Also, if there's something specific. Okay, so let's. I removed I removed the storage package. Let's see if I can add a reference to some DLLs that I recently uploaded. So on the desktop here, let's add a reference to both of these actually. And let's see if I can still compile. So that would be in the Azure Storage option, Azure Storage module. For sure, can take a look at their source code, right? I hate Golang, dude. Go, I just hate it. I just hate it. Okay, so at least I can reference the new DLLs. That's great. The thing is that, oh, I don't know. I hate absolutely. Okay, so the only experience I have with Golang is trying to or modifying Evil Jinx 2 to add some custom features, because that's entirely in Go. And man, I just it's just Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's structured in such a way that just annoys the heck out of me. The main issue with C for me is the fucking data types. They have a million data, or I guess that's C++ technically, but there's so many data types that I hate working with, hate dealing with. In C sharp, a string is a string. God damn it, right? Okay, so we got it to 998 now. Another thing I wanted to do as well is to stop and use the nuggets and just import a projects from the different like the Google API ones, and then just try to rip out the actual code that's needed. var all the things, yeah, man. Don't need to deal with data types because I can just var them. So first off, let's check if this still works. Well, no, actually, yeah, I was in the release folder, so that's so it definitely still works. That's awesome. Let's just copy this over to my main machine here. So go back one step or 3 steps. Just copy that to my main machine so I can copy it over to the Kali VM I have running here, which is the VM we used last time we played with BoffNet, which was 2 hours of pain trying to debug this thing. And then I think I might have to regenerate a beacon. I guess we could use PowerShell for the lols. Because... Oh no, I mean like this. No, I mean like this. No, I mean like... No, what do I mean? Like I never use this. I never use PowerShell for deployment. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Obviously Defender is disabled on this one. Okay, so let's upload that to desktop. I already have an older version. Let's upload the new one I just copied out. And then just copy the arguments from the Windows box. Again, pretty sure I'll get that entry point failure, which I've been getting. Oh, what happened there? That for sure won't work. Mousepad, please. Thank you. What happened there? Oh yeah, I was in break line. Lol. Because it starts up and everything. Or it doesn't start up at all. Do I need to move into another process first, maybe? I literally just tested it and it worked fine, so that is interesting. As always. I mean, the binary can't be that broken that it doesn't even return outputs. Oh, God. I should try to run it from pictures. But it runs just fine. Oh, is it because it's so close to a megabyte? Yeah, it's probably because it's so close to a megabyte. Yeah, that's it. It's 997 kilobytes. No, yeah, it's because it's so close to a megabyte. That's why. Okay. Let me just cripple some functionality from some other stuff here. Let's say, do I need this now? Doesn't look like I needed that. Did compile, and now it should be a bit smaller. 991. I'll take it. It's literally a tiny bit smaller. Because I know the line for Cobalt binaries doesn't actually, like, it isn't. This behavior is usually what I see when its size is too much. Okay. So still too much. Anything else I can nuke? Do I even use this? Do I even use this? Let's look at the references here. So for Google, yeah, I'm using Drive 3, Auth, and Services, all in APIs. So dnmerge actually compresses the dependencies already, and that's he actually compresses them quite a lot. Like he gets them down to a fair size. So I'm wondering if I need to delete like this, because I don't see anybody depend on it. Okay, API 15. Okay, yeah. Core. Do I use that? Ah, I definitely need SharpExfiltrate. Maybe that actually is a dependency of dnmerge. No, that's something else. Oh, compiler unsafe. Do I need that? Task extensions. Do I need that? I have a feeling I need that though. I didn't need. I didn't need that? You're telling me I can have. Okay, sure. It should be a bit smaller then. There we go. 971. That should be fine. Note to self, always check if you even need the dependencies. That should be fine. Shut up. Okay, does anything work? Let me just smack over a binary from like Sharp Collection to check if it works. Let's use this. Yeah, that worked fine. So it's still a size then. Okay, let's make it a. See if we can make it even smaller. Hmm. You think I need this? Do I need core? So Google. Because these are all small sizes. The main reason it's so fucking huge is because of this. Do I need common, you think? Yeah, it needs common. Yeah, it needs common. Trying to think here. It's just so huge, you know, that dependency of Azure storage by itself is literally like just common is 389 kilobytes and then blob is 561. Like these two, just the Azure storage is breaking my binary. Every other dependency is nice, but Microsoft have to have huge dependencies, huge PPs. So it's that kind of sucks. Yeah, I'll have to look into that, but the original version that used the nuggets works with execute or runs with execute assembly because it's like 891 kilobytes, but dmerge won't help me. All right. So what I was thinking is that I would actually download the Azure Storage project file, add the project to the solution, add it as a reference, get it working that way, and then start removing functionality from it. So I could get it down. Like if I could shave 100 kilobytes off, that would be more than enough. So it's just a matter of doing that, and I haven't done it yet. But yeah, I think that's really the demo. If somebody is having a slow day, yeah, that's not a legitimately not a bad option. Or if I another thing, I mean, the 2 mega if you add more and more features to this, you might want to add a wrapper for it anyhow because you're going to hit the 1 meg barrier. So the way you could do is that you could have a wrapper around this that would just take this binary, compress it a couple of times maybe, uncompress it in memory, and then assembly load it instead of having execute assembly do it. It's weird though. Why is that a max? Like, I'm guessing there has to be a decent reason why CobbleStrike has this. Or I could implement BoffNet straight into it. That would also solve it actually. But yeah, the main problem right now is these. So either I have to add the whole project or rip out the source code that does this. Um, and ripping out that source code is not as easy as I'm making it out to be because there's a lot of dependencies in them. But it's possible, totally possible. I think that's it. This is how I do the Office OAuth, just a basic OAuth flow, talking to the Graph API using the client ID GUID from Teams. So this will appear as Teams logging on when SharpExfil does authentication. But again, that doesn't really matter because this is all on my side. This is towards my tenant, right? Not the target one. Yeah, the user agent who goes out. If you're watching network traffic, look out for SharpExfil user agent. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Again, if I remove these two, I'll show you the problem if somebody else wanna try to guide me. But if I remove these two and then I add the NuGets, which I should get a suggestion for doing. So let's say I install the, no, I do not want to install that. That's the fucking Microsoft, man. They change up their NuGet packages all the time and then the suggestion fucks up. And if you have, ugh. So the reason I'm complaining is that Microsoft recently split out all their Microsoft Azure stuff. Even in Python, they split it out into like 10 different pip modules instead of having one just being called Microsoft Azure whatever. And it is a giant pain in my butt. Oh, actually, I think we can get around it by, no, you have to use any CPU, right? With the whole I don't use VMI for anything other than host enumeration sometimes. I've used it for detaching processes from Word. So if you use VMI to execute in a process from macro, it will show up as detached. Didn't I just install that? What's the issue here? I guess showed as detached is a bad description, but it won't show up as a child of the Office process by just using VMI. I don't think you understand. I already have this. Oh yeah, I had the blob. I might need to add storage as well, actually. Actually, I just do the old good old undo changes. I'll show you what it looks like when it crashes in Cobalt. So when you use the nuggets, it's 897 kilobytes, and that works just fine. So I mean, if I could get dnmerge to work with packages having references to themselves, that would solve the issue. So I might have to have a talk or have a look into dnmerge. There we go. So it does this, starts the compression, but then it fails, and you just get failed to invoke entry point or whatever. You are a god if that works. Where's that? Click the project name, then select remove unused references. I don't see it. Load direct dependencies of the projects. Yeah, you can't send. Try adding some characters in between the dots in .com, so I can see that link, or just send it separately in 3 different texts or something. I can just Google as well though. Give me a second. Remove unused dependencies solution. Visual Studio. Right click the project name or dependency node in Solution Explorer, select remove, okay. Or the dependency. I don't see it. It's not here. Does that mean I already do it though? Oh, it's in Solution Explorer. Yeah, I'm seeing it's a part of ReSharper in JetBrains. Is what I'm seeing here. If you have a ReSharper plugin, you can access a feature that allows you to analyze the use references. So you need to have the JetBrains ReSharper plugin. But that's not a bad thing though. I could even get that. No worries. It's free. There's a free trial for it, I think. That shouldn't be an issue at all. But yeah, the best would be to fire out the part of because I'm getting this. I'm getting invoke 3 on entry point. I tracked down that is exactly when in Azure Storage it tries to use this object basically. It just fails, and it's because it can't resolve some dependencies. So what's weird is that Windows Azure Storage blob is dependent on. Okay, give me a second here. Hold up. I might think I know the issue. I think I know the issue. So, or I don't know, but can I just do this? I'm wondering maybe I should just add the explicit. You know what I mean? Maybe that makes dnmerge understand where the references are coming from. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. I have no idea if this makes any difference for the compiler at all. So it didn't reduce the size, but not really looking for that either. Give me a second. Copy and replace. Fingers crossed, that would be great, man. I don't think it will work. We'll see. Nope. Invoke 3 and answer point failed. Nope. I think it's because I don't know why. Yeah, no, I'll have to look into it off stream sometime. For now, just use Google Drive or OneDrive if you're operating from a beacon, or Rapid. If you want to wrap it, you have to uninstall dnmerge, and then you will get a binary that's like 2 megs, and then you would have to compress and encode that and smack it into a C# wrapper. That would work. Technically, that would work. Technically, that would work. No, that wouldn't. No, yes. Yeah, that I think that would work. You would have to remove dnmerge and use either fudi or ilmerge. I haven't tried ilmerge. I never used ilmerge. Okay, so you have to do it afterwards then, right? To include all the DLL files. So it's a bit more manual labor. You have to, I guess you could just wildcard DLLs, could you? Yeah, okay. You could try, yeah, it's a bit hard to detach the debugger when it's only happening in Cobalt Strike, right? I guess the dirty way of doing it would be to upload the actual storage DLL in the same directory so it finds it. That would be look at this file. 1.1 megs is the storage file. If I could get this down, like, I would just try to copy it out and then just copy it in. And then just upload it in the directory. Right. If this works, I'm going to be, I don't know, pissed, I guess. No, it doesn't work. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. I hate wasting time on stream just debugging stuff. It sucks. Yeah, but no, I'm gonna have to look into it so we can get Azure Storage running smoothly. The best option would figure out why dnmerge fucks up the assembly references, or why it doesn't correctly set the assembly references. Another way would be to still use dnmerge, but to add the project as a reference to another, or to include the project in the SharpExfiltrate solution itself instead of using a NuGet package. Yeah, it's good learning, I agree though, but my brain's gonna melt. That would be the best option. Just rip the actual code out and use it within SharpExfiltrate. That would be like the quote-unquote the best way. Yeah, I would have to look into doing that. For now, use either OneDrive or Google Drive. OneDrive is probably going to be your main hit, since like based on what the target has. If it has OneDrive installed by default, then they use OneDrive. Then It's a nice. I would use OneDrive. But then there's a. I really want to add network traffic restriction, so it doesn't nuke the outbound network traffic and create too much, create like an obvious upload of large files. Try to what's it called, rate limit the upload speed of the modules. I know you can do it in Azure Storage Account. I don't know if you can do it in OneDrive or Google Drive, but that would be interesting. Looking into rate limiting the upload speed to stay under the radar, right? And then S3 buckets would be nice to have. If somebody wants to add that module, feel free. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Excited about this. Been a long time since I released any sort of tool. That's not true, but at least publicly, I have released a couple of tools internally, but not publicly. I haven't released anything in quite a while, so it's good getting something back out there again. Thanks, man. I really hope it's useful when you want to get that big folder or zip folder or whatever. Awesome, people. This is a nice option to egress asses. Egress SS, I guess. Awesome, people. Okay, I'll post the GitHub repo one more time if people joined late. Again, feel free to contribute whatever amount of work you want to that. And then I guess have a great remaining rest of your Sunday, right? Monday tomorrow, work tomorrow, whoop! Right? I'm so happy I got my report out for peer review on Friday before taking a weekend. And I swear to God, getting that peer report out for peer review before taking a weekend is just so nice, dude. If I don't do that, my weekend is gonna be ruined. Sven. Sven, that's me. You should pick that up if you haven't picked that up for peer review. Yeah, I really sold my peer review out. It was a great gig, awesome gig. It's I can't talk much about it, but started off a bit shaky. Had to set some expectations, align some. Basically just align some expectations. We ended up just bending backwards for the customer, doing what they wanted, being the service-minded consultants we are, and it was a great success. The client was really happy with us being able to sort of do a standing turn in terms of what we were supposed to do and what we actually ended up doing. So that was a great, really awesome assessment, really awesome gig. Super happy about it. Happy about the report. One of the bigger reports I've written, but it's awesome. It's awesome when it goes that way. When the client really gets on your side at the end, it's awesome. Well, that's gonna be it. Have a great remaining of Sunday, and then happy Monday. What? You guys don't like going to work? Yeah, no, I get you. Cheers, guys. Have a great one. Bye bye.